What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and we're once again going to take a look at the PvP nightmare, Spitfire. She certainly can be a nightmare when she's paired up with the right teammate. Then other times, maybe not so much. But we'll get into that more later. First up we have Spitfire with Morbius, her fellow vampire. And what we're trying to do is place bleeding on the enemy team, so we'll use an attack run. And this triggers we will win. Since we are trying to take out Quicksilver first, this is going to go a long way. So we'll just use our single target attack, and then we'll get a fly-by-night follow-up, instantly dropping the speedster. Yeah, so you may have noticed that did a lot of damage. And that's because his level 1 has deadly crits, and he has the scent of blood. Attacks that hit are guaranteed to be critical hits against bleeding targets. So essentially Spitfire sets him up and Morbius knocks him down. I'm trying to remember, and I think that maybe someone mentioned this team somewhere in the comment section. And I did want to go ahead and show a few teams that were requested. We're going to talk more about those requested team ups and what I think and what I plan to do in the final match of this video. That's going to be the longest one out of the group, so that's going to give us the most time to talk. For now, we are using the Lantern of Doom and the Oni Breaker, which gives us Sacred. That makes a huge difference when using the Lantern. It's going to make all its actions quick actions, and that comes in very handy. So after using Smothering Shadow, we're going to use our Relentless Rapier. The enemy will preemptively counter. The Legion Pulse Rifle actually did okay damage there, but we do end up landing a hit for 8,500. Then we take a Mandible hit, and our agent's actually quite hurt. Luckily though, we do get a Fiery Fist hit, and that's going to be the end of this match. So Morbius and Spitfire, definitely not a bad team at all, and I was pretty impressed. Plus we gained another level, so 1 gold. Now moving on to the second team I wanted to try, and that's of course with the amazing Spider-Woman. This team right away sounded great. They don't get too much better than Mayday. So I figured, hey, what's to lose, we have to try this team out. And Spitfire plus Mayday should equal defensive team destruction. Now right away we are going after the Horseman of Pestilence, and unfortunately the Relentless Rapier does miss, but the Cardinal connects. Then we're going to get one more attack to try to take him down. So far not too great, but the Rapier is going to get another crack at him, and he has 3,100 HP. The Cardinal finishes him, but he does get that rebirth. What that means is Phoenix Fire is most likely coming. But at least we should be able to take down Beast fairly quickly, hopefully with the amazing Spider-Woman. To begin, we're going to use our level 15 ability, Primed and Ready, then our Magnetic Maneuver. Following that, I think we're going to go with the Repelled Uppercut on Beast. This should be an easy knockout, so it's the safest bet. And unfortunately, they do have a lot of tacticians. But yeah, we're going to try to knock out Beast, and then it won't matter that we hit him with a blaster. So there it is, their Horseman is down, and we can now remove debuffs. The Phoenix Fire is just a shell of its former self. That attack used to be devastating, and now, well, that was just pitiful. Alright, well, Mayday was interrupted, which I was worried about. They have Hawkeye's Heroic E-ISO, so they can interrupt range attacks. They won't stop the Rapier though, so we'll hit them with that. And then the agent's going to use the Scroll of Angolob. I'm not sure how to feel about that one. I guess I don't really care. Followed by the Lunacy. That I care a little bit more about, but their Beast is down and we shouldn't have any trouble winning this match. Stamina shouldn't be an issue. With Spitfire we go with our level 1, trying to get some follow-ups. And there's the Relentless Rapier. Can we get the Cardinal? Yes we can. And that finishes off the agent. So with amazing Spider-Woman, I'm going to begin with Impact Webbing. And just for this team up, we did place a Snaring A-ISO on Sleeping Tiger. The only question is, should we use it now, or another Fiery Fist? We're going to go with that level 9 though, because she probably won't get another chance. And following that, Phoenix is down to 4,500 HP. Okay, another Cosmic Cardinal proc's going to finish it. So that's the end of our second team up. Okay, so I really enjoyed the first two team ups, and this final team is another highly suggested one. But don't get me wrong, from the very beginning I planned on using her with Rocket, with Union Jack, with Spider-Man Noir. But I do believe all those teams are going to benefit from her much more once she's level 15. So I almost wanted to wait for that. As far as those other two mentioned heroes, we are going to wait. But when it comes to facing an Infiltrator, she's going to go off right away. So we got pretty lucky with Emma Frost. Then one other very suggested team that I did want to talk about briefly was of course Spitfire and Quicksilver. Now I don't know how many of you thought that they would get turns in a row, like getting 4 turns, Spitfire then Quicksilver to begin a match. A friend of mine did briefly think that, and it would have been amazing, but there's now alternating turns in PvP, so that cannot happen. A long time ago that actually could have happened, and there were many matches where the entire enemy team went first, which basically could cost you the match easily. I mean, just imagine how cheap that was. You wouldn't even get a turn, the entire enemy team would go before you. They've changed that, so that's never going to happen again, and rightfully so. So when it came to using Spitfire and Quicksilver, I had a terrible time. It was absolutely awful. Now I'm only speaking from my own experience, but I found it very hard to lose this season after upgrading my armory. But Spitfire and Quicksilver quickly lost back to back. If you want to see any of those losses, I can definitely show you. But I'm telling you, it was an awful pairing. One terrible thing is, there's Bruiser Safeguard agents everywhere, and they're using the Huygens Eye. You have so many unarmed attacks, it's ridiculous. And even worse than that, you're going to put so many stacks of escutcheon on the enemy agent that they become incredible super agents. One attack with either character and you're going to have 6 to 8 stacks on them right away. You only can remove them so many times. For me it's typically the Blackest Void and then I gotta deal with it. That alone was almost unbearable. Even in the few matches that I won, I struggled against agents that had like 20k HP. It actually was scary. You can't even avoid the absorb energy when your entire team is melee. And immobilized? Well, yeah, that's going to shut you right down. So I under no circumstance recommend anyone to use that team, unless it's in PvE. I'm sorry, but it did put me in a pretty bad mood. It just wasn't fun losing matches that I 100% should have won. And just to let you know, I even used Quicksilver as a blaster and that didn't even matter. I didn't try him as a scrapper not even once. That would have been much worse. That's all I'm going to say about them, but if you do want to see them, then I'll put them in the next Spitfire PvP video, along with Spider-Man Noir and Union Jack, who I'm a little bit worried about because they are both scrappers. But they'll still probably do fine, at least he does have ranged attacks. Being all one-dimensional just isn't great. At least not with the Huygens Eye, the Elite EISO, and Immobilized out there. It would be much better to be all ranged than all melee. As for this final match, we started out on a tear, and now the enemy team has become very hard to finish. In part because they're both bruisers, and I'm sure the enemy agent has a lot of stacks of escutcheon. Okay, there's 7 out of 10. At least we have Fatal Blow on Voracious Vixen, so that is going to finish them off. It also restores Spitfire's health and stamina, and so following that, we're going to use our level 1 on Kurth. That'll put at least 1 bleeding stack on her because of the bloody AISO. Although we almost missed every hit from it. Still, she is bleeding. And after that, with Rocket, we're going to use his Blam Blam Blam. If Rocket's going to go down, he might as well go down swinging. And he even knocks himself out. But then with my agent, we'll use the Guardian Insignia, then the Improbability Field, and we'll see what Spitfire can do once again. What I'm thinking is we're going to try to get another stack of bleeding by using our Fiery Fists, and then we're going to go with our Sleeping Tiger. This may or may not be enough damage because Kurth is pretty resilient here. But hey, the Rapier is going to help. And also, we're going to get a Cosmic Cardinal, but it misses. Still, it looks like she's definitely a candidate to be taken down by Spitfire's level 9. So we'll hit her with that, and it does cause hemorrhaging. So that's how this one's going to end. Spitfire does get the final hit in her own video, which I love. And I think it did a good job of illustrating some teams are just so much better with her. And even some team-ups that you think are going to be great, they just don't meet expectations. At least for now. But that's going to be it for this one, so I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank you all for watching, and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Then until next time, good luck, and take care.